Next up, we have Vicki Darnell. Ms. Darnell.
Good morning. My name is Vicki Darnell, 125 McConnell Street, Kingsport. And I'm here to talk about being a volunteer for the Sullivan County Animal Shelter. I've been a volunteer for 5 years. I train the new volunteers. I can say I've never done one thing on the shelter property or away that did any disharm, disgrace to the animal shelter at all. And a few weeks ago, I got blocked and banned from our Facebook page because my sin was I commented on a friend's personal page, not the shelter page, her personal page, because she put a post up about some abuse that Mark Harper did to a dog. I said it was true. Now, why did I say it was true? I didn't witness it. Why did I say it was true? The manager, Brandy Perkins, has said it was true. The assistant manager, Pam Curry, she says it's true. Kim Boer, who works closely with Mark, she says it's true. Lori Sullivan, who has witnessed abuse by Mark, she says it's true. Nikki Payne, who has witnessed abuse by Mark, she says it's true. It is a well-known fact that it's true. And we want it stopped. We're not saying firing. I think Mark's a good employee. He's not lazy. He works hard. I've seen his tender side. But he loses control of the animals. I think he's just been there too long and got hard. Put him somewhere else. I'm not saying fire him. I don't want him to lose his job. I don't want him to lose his retirement. Just take him out of the shelter. Put him on a road crew. Do something else with him besides letting him continue to harm the animals. That's all we're asking. That's all we're asking. We're not going away. We're not a bunch of crazy animal nut people. We're going to start campaigning for the people that's going to stand behind us, and I mean actively. Last Saturday, we raised $2,000 in a few hours. We're not going away. So if you all want to stand with us, stand with us. And if you don't, we're going to drain the swamp.
Appreciate your comments. Next up, we have Sherry Willis Lopez.
Yes, I'm Sherry Willis Lopez, and I'm a volunteer at the animal shelter. I've been volunteering for right about a year now. I do a multitude of things. I started out fostering a dog. I'm now fostering my 3rd dog. I also help fosters get started as far as the process and what to do, and I'll, answering a million questions along the way. But probably what I do the most of is I get dogs into rescues. I spend countless hours doing that, from the 10 to 12 hours a week I spend at the shelter to the 40 to 50 hours per week I spend from home and elsewhere, networking animals, sending all of their information to the multiple rescues, generally up north, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, so the areas where they have spay and neuter laws and no surplus of animals. So that being said, I concur with Vicki Darnell on the things she said about the Facebook page. I know it's not a county-run Facebook page, but the thing with it was ran partially by 2 county employees. Brandy Perky and Pam Perry were 2 of them running the page. And those 2 are the ones that blocked all of the main volunteers that actively help get the animals out the door. So, to us that's disappointing because we're the ones doing the work to get the dogs out. The shelter staff, unfortunately there's not enough of them to actually do the things that we do to get the dogs out the door alive. But on top of that, I want to mention one more thing, and it's kind of when I lost faith in the shelter manager, Brandy Perky. On May 4th, when I was volunteering at the shelter, I'm going to read this so I don't get it wrong. But a cat was found hit by a car by some community members and was brought into the shelter in very bad shape with head trauma. Brandy and I both got the cat into a kennel in the intake room. Everyone was scurrying to get Will, the animal control officer, on the phone and on his way because the cat had such bad head trauma that it was definitely going to die. While Brandy and I were in the intake room, she said, quote, "If Will can't be here in the next 5 minutes, I could go ahead and put it down so it doesn't suffer." I said no, that it had to be done the right way, or it's not more humane than natural death. She said, quote, "I've seen it done 100 times. It's just one shot right there," and pointed. I told her that she needed to wait. About 2 to 3 minutes later, the cat died on its own. To me, thank God it did. The reason that I mention this is because she's not certified to do that procedure. It will break the law if she was to do that. And what lost my faith and trust in her that day was that I felt like, from her, the way that she said it, that I felt like she had done it before. Of course, I don't know that for sure, but I just don't feel like we've got the right person in charge. Not that she's not trying her best in lots of areas, and not that some things aren't improving. Thanks to the money that the county's put in with cleaners and things that I've personally asked for before. But I just think we need someone different in charge. Thank you.
Next up, we have Sarah Foster signed up. Ms. Foster.
Hello.
Good morning.
I spoke with you guys back in February with the commission. I came in and spoke about the shelter.
Could you do a name and address?
Oh, yes, sir. I apologize. Sarah Foster,
Not a
2005.
problem.
2005 Linwood Road, Sarah Foster.
Thank you.
So I spoke to you all back in February as a volunteer, and I came in and I was feeling really good about myself. I said, I'm gonna come in and just say, hey, there's a lot of resources out there that you're not harnessing because there's really not a good connect between the shelter and the volunteers. And a lot of you came up afterward and talked to me and said, hey, we like what you're messaging, you're not coming in here complaining, you want to actually help. And I really do. I've had a couple of conversations with several of you following, and I've continued to be told that there's going to be a volunteer committee where we would be able to help deal with the day-to-day issues, because as you've heard, the shelter staff is overwhelmed. There's a lot that they can't get to. Today I'm coming to you as an advocate. I'm a licensed attorney here in Tennessee as well as in Virginia, and today I'm coming to you as an advocate for the volunteers. I have to be honest with you, it absolutely appalls me how our volunteers are treated at this shelter. It absolutely disgusts me. I have been working with the shelter since September as a volunteer. I'm out there trying to walk dogs, I'm fostering, I'm donating, I'm sponsoring pull fees and rescue fees. I help foster to rescue so that when Sherry has a dog that gets into rescue, I help bridge between the shelter and getting them into the rescue. So I'm out there as a volunteer too. But I can't tell you the number of times that these people turn around to me and say, well, it is what it is. This is just how we get treated. It is akin to an abusive marriage wherein somebody is being abused and the abusive partner is using the children against them. Because these people continue coming back and coming back and coming back for the abuses that the shelter and some of our commissioners and some of our county leaders, the way they are treated, they continue coming back because they know that if they don't, those dogs and cats are going to die. Case in point, 30 cats were put down this weekend. Our ACO is going to be out of town this week, and so we just couldn't bother to put out an all-call and say, hey, we got a bunch of mama cats with kittens. So 30 got put down. So that's what happens if these volunteers don't show up. So they get called nuts, they get called fanatical, they're told that, you know, they'll come back. If they leave, they'll come back. They're just mad because they can't run the shelter. But the reality is they know that if they're not in there getting those dogs out, they're not going to be out. That Facebook page that has been brought up multiple times as a point of frustration for these volunteers, it's because that's their lifeline out. The number of times that you will hear an adopter come up to the shelter and say, I saw that dog on Facebook and I would like to meet them, that's how they get out. So blocking a dozen volunteers from that page, by the way, I was one of them, and I didn't comment on the post. I was just removed. Do you know what my sin was? I started another page so that the volunteers who are actually up there doing, they're the ones taking the pictures, they're the ones getting them committed to rescue. I counted up over $12,000 in personal donations and over 6,000 volunteered hours just in the last 18 months of the people who were blocked from the page. So I started a new page so that they had a place to take the pictures and to put the pictures and to continue networking the dogs. So I also got blocked. And I have proof in a message that it was Brandy. She admitted to me directly that she was the one who did the blocking. So you can say all you want, this is not a county-run page, but if you're blocking people from the shelter employees are doing it, and they wrote a post and said, we did it in the name of violating a volunteer agreement. So if we've got shelter employees blocking volunteers from the county Facebook page in the name of violating a county volunteer agreement, how can you tell me this is not a county page? When I came here back in February, I was interrupted and said, wait. The shelter is not our issue. We only get involved if it's a big problem. So what I want to know as an advocate for these volunteers who continue to be mistreated and they continue to come back for this abuse day after day because they know that if they don't, those dogs and cats are going to get put down. What I want to know from this group is how bad does it have to get for you to step in?
Thank you.
I know I'm out of time. I appreciate you. I'm very fired up about this, but there's a lot of resources that we are not harnessing, and so much of it is because of the way these volunteers are treated. I continue to make myself available as an attorney, as an NDA, as a process improver, and as a volunteer. I am willing to help. I want to help. Please, for the love of God, let us help.
Thank you. Well, and please give us your name and address and welcome.
Good morning, I'm Lisa Thompson, 100 Robinson Walk in Bristol, Tennessee. And I'm here on behalf of Rescue and for the Sullivan County Animal Shelter. I've had a couple of really bad experiences with the shelter and promises broken, dog abuse. The few times that I have been down there, the employees are not doing anything, the volunteers are doing it all. And the people that you have in charge are not being honest with the rescue that I work with. And some things need to change. These animals are suffering. And it breaks my heart to see it. And the killing that's going on and the lies that are being told. And I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm willing to go down there and work at that shelter and do Miss Perky's job for free for 1 year. And if you don't like what I'm doing, then you hire somebody else. But I'll do it for free if you will help these animals. Thank you.
Thank you. We're bumping up on our 30 minutes, but I'm not going to cut you off. Do we have anyone else that would like to address the commission for whatever reason? Yes, ma'am.
My name's Liza Conway, 836 State Street. What I would like, pardon me?
I said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, thank you very much. What I would like to see happen at the animal shelters, we need an animal shelter committee board made up of commissioners and the general public. We also need the shelter to get on the state with 501c3. June 1st, it will be 6 months. Sir, you are very busy. You do a great job. but I don't think you and Mr. Johnson can run the shelter. You have a room full of volunteers, you have people talking to you all the time without wanting to help the shelter, but we're getting nowhere. The time has come, 6 months is long enough, we need a committee, and we need the shelter to become a 501c3. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before we go on to the next agenda item, the approval of no republish, I would like to take full personal privilege and address a couple of things that I think need to be addressed. And it is personal privilege, so I will do that at this time. Number one, all the folks who spoke on the animal show this morning, thank you. We share your passion. It may not always be apparent, but we share your passion. Our volunteers have said I've worked 30 years in animal shelter. I've worked 5 years in animal shelter. People have spoke, so I worked 1 year in animal shelter. Ms. Conway mentioned that we've had the animal shelter here for 5.5 months in Sullivan County, under the direction of county government. I've met with various volunteers, and we have tremendous volunteers in Sullivan County. We can't run our county without the volunteers, whether it be an animal shelter volunteer, or volunteer fireman, or a volunteer rescue squad member. We can't. Citizens of Sullivan County cannot afford to pay for what we get from you. With the animal shelter, and the volunteers, it's been kind of like drinking from a fire hose. There are so many, and we've had such a short time, and we had to provide for the physical needs for the animals that we inherited on January 1 this year. And we inherited employees on January 1. Some employees have stayed, some employees have left. We inherited volunteers. And we found that there's not always agreement among volunteers, and that's normal. But again, we have so many and so much to do. We have dedicated just about the full time of our solid waste director, our IT person in the county, even our accounts and budget director donated countless and hundreds of hours trying to get a handle on this. We're still working on the physical facility. What we inherited was not something you'd be proud of. Not something that the county commission would be proud of. But we're moving in that direction. 5.5 months seems like a lot of time when you've got an animal in distress. I agree to that. But we've only got limited resources, and for example, somebody mentioned the volunteer agreement. We ask everybody that volunteers to sign an agreement to work under these conditions. And it's not always possible. We understand that. There are agreements. You have passions and you see them not met. And we feel badly too. But we are giving every effort on the part of the county to make a humane shelter. This is the first time Sullivan County has been in charge of an animal shelter. The sheriff ran one for years and did it well. And then we had an agreement with Kingsport and Bristol. It didn't work out very well. And generally, it's a money-based issue. You have to come up with $1 million or take it back. Many times during the last 6 months have I said, please come up with $1 million and give it back. Because it's difficult, let me tell you, and there's not a lack of compassion on the part of the people dealing with it. It's a lack of resources and a lack of time. But we will continue to move forward, and we're going to make significant physical changes to the shelter. And we're doing that all in 1 year's budget that we had $181,000 left in the budget when we took this back over. But I will tell you, we're spending funds on behalf of the county commission to make something we'll be proud of. Now, each individual case, it's tragic, but we have a lot of successes. We're having a lot more successes. As far as the Facebook page, somebody mentioned that it's not a county page. It's not a county page. There may be input, and there obviously is, but where to go for Sullivan County information on the shelter is the Sullivan County website. And when you call it up, you'll see dogs and cats on that page. And if that tells you how important it is to us, Ma'am, you're shaking your head, but I don't know if you've been
No,
on, we're not gonna have a conversation, you had your time. You had your time, I've got mine. But if you go to our website, you will find the reports for the last 4 or 5 months on the activity at that shelter. Several of you are shaking your heads, and I know it to be true, I can take it in my office right now. Again, that's what we're dealing with. People's perspective is a lot different. And I would only ask you volunteers, that is what you're doing really helping, or is it hindering? Just ask yourself that question. Just sit there and shake your head. Is that helping, or is that hindering? We need your help, and we need your direction. We're going to see if this is something the county, over the next few months, we'll determine if this is something these 24 commissioners out here want to be on the front line of. This is unusual. Washington County has a county-run shelter, but Sullivan County's never had one. We got 5 months under our belt. End of discussion on that.